Hey folks, John from Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business. So I hope you're all staying safe out there. I hope everybody is feeling well. I know that they're starting to lighten restrictions up in certain areas. Needless to say, we're still closed out here at the flea market, so I'm still doing what I'm doing. A lot of you guys might have caught the game stream last night. I'm going to start doing a little bit more of that for you guys. I know I'm a retro gamer. I like older games, and I don't mind sharing. I want you guys to see what kind of stuff I'm into. It's pretty cool. That being said, today's video we're gonna do a little bit of a review on a new product. One of my favorite companies out there called Vilros, and they make cases for raspberries, but they hadn't made one yet for this model. So check this out. All right, guys, so here's what we got. So Vilros, now this company, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a link down here to this particular case, but if you just do a search for them anywhere on Amazon or on the internet, you're going to find tons and tons of different cases. However, up until now, they had not made one for the Raspberry Pi 4. In fact, nobody had. There are now 2 cases that are available for this, and I want to take a look at the first one from my favorite company today. Now, we all know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this, there's still some development going on for the Raspberry Pi 4. It's why it's not super widely used in gaming and all that. It's still coming up. Hopefully soon, once they get the GPU drivers down and they can eliminate some of this throttling that's happening with the processor, we're going to have a super, super solid, really, really good single board computer for gaming. That's what I'm looking for. Now, I've used this for a lot of other things. A lot of you guys probably saw that last video I did, and if you didn't, I'll put it up here in the description, where I was talking about being able to use your Raspberry to help fight COVID-19. Well, these are a little more powerful than the B3 Pluses, so that would work just as well on these too. All right, guys, so here she is, and I'm going to show Stumpy here. This is listed as an NES style case. Now, Super Nintendo case for a Raspberry Pi 4, I can get down with this. The problem I've had with any cases that have even been postulated, I've 3D printed a few of these that have come out really well. They've got to be super cool. These things run a lot hotter than B3 Pluses. So let's take a look and see what we got here. So as you can see, it's from Vilros Retro Gaming, Raspberry Pi 4 compatible. Pretty basic box. Most of their stuff is. All right, so let's crack this open. There is no packaging here. Look at that. In all of its Nintendo goodness. Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys, I have dealt with a lot of Vilros' cases. They're very, very sturdy and solid, and you can feel it. One of the things I'm noticing right off the bat, these buttons are cosmetic. They don't move. That's an issue. So in other words, you would have to wire up an on-off switch yourself. Now, one thing I am seeing that I do like is if you look up here in this corner, there are these 2 LEDs right here, these little holes. That's going to show you your power and your hard drive LED. That's really, really cool because a lot of time when you case these things inside of a big structure, you can't see. You don't know what's going on with them. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at this, and I'm going to assume that's a fan. Having not opened this yet, I'm going to assume that's a fan. All right, so let's crack this open and see. Let's see. First of all, anything else in the box? Ah, yes. All right, so we got our little one sheet they usually put out from Vilros to show you how to put it together. That gives you an idea how real basic this thing is. So, all right, let's crack it open. And it looks like it just slides open from both sides. And that's all there is to this thing, guys. That's it. Now, in this kit, in their defense, they do actually give you a little screwdriver. That's kind of interesting. A screwdriver on one end and an Allen wrench on the other end. So that's kind of cool. And got 4 screws. And it looks like it's got a standard case fan in here. Now, and it's set to pull air out. So I'm assuming that the vents on the front here are going to pull air in, and this is going to pull air out to keep air flowing across the top of the Raspberry. And as you can see, most of the time you're going to want to put a big vent on these things anyway to cool them. And I mean, that is the bare minimum of cooling you want to do with the 4. That's a fact. But in theory, we shall see. Now, you can run this. One thing about a Raspberry that's pretty cool, a lot of people don't know this, is you can run the fan at 5 volts. There's 2 actual pins on here to run it at 5 volts to run it full speed all the time. That can get a little bit noisy, especially as the fan starts to age, and it will put more wear and tear on the fan. However, you can also wire it up for 3.1 volts, thereby running the fan slower and extending its life, but sacrificing a little bit of cooling. For me, given the fact that that little tiny thing right there is going to be cooling this entire Raspberry 4, we're going to run it at 5 volts. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to set this in here. Looks like you also get some little clear feet. That was hidden down in there. All right, so let's take a look and see how this sits in here. So it looks like, here's your memory card slot. So it's going to sit down in place right there. Now, based on what I am seeing, as far as the screws go, it looks like you don't put any screws in from the top. You don't. All screws go in from the bottom. All right. And I'm going to try to zoom Stumpy in on this so you guys can see this. This is actually kind of one of the most important things you're going to do if you actually do your own Raspberry build like this. Okay. If you're looking at the pins in this format, okay, the ground is the bottom row, the third one over is the ground. The two right next to it. So here's your ground. The two right next to it are 5-volt rails. Okay, so you can run your ground here and a 5-volt here. And then you've got another 5-volt and another ground here if you wanted to run a secondary thing on 5 volts. If you're doing those arcade 1-up conversions or any of that kind of stuff, that comes in real handy if you want to put in secondary LEDs or something like that. So pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and let's set this together and let's see how she looks. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hopefully Stumpy is picking this up here. And we're going to ground it here and 5-volt it there. All right, so let's set this in place and see what it looks like. All right. And it just snaps right together. All right, well, let's go ahead and put the screws in, see what she looks like. So, structurally, it's built pretty well. I mean, it's light. It's very light compared to most of their stuff. But overall, the look of it's pretty nice. I would have greatly preferred if they had included that button on the front or the switch on the front to be able to turn the Raspberry on and off. That's a pretty big sticking point for me, I'll tell you. But let's go ahead and just put this down here and take a look and see what it does. And I'm not a super big fan of this cheesy wrench, so I tell you what, we're going to go back to our good kit, our iFixit kit. Go a whole lot faster with these. But that little screwdriver does, at least they give you one, right? I mean, they could just give you the case and you have no mini screwdriver, and then, yeah, there you are. All right, so let's go ahead and get this one in here. And get this one in. And you've got good clearance to your SD card slot on the side, which I do like. And since we're here, let's go ahead and put on our little rubber feet since they were so nice to provide those two for us. There we go. Yeah, not too bad at all, guys. It's smaller, and I'll give you a comparison of one of the other cases that I've used in the past for the Raspberry B3 Plus. So hold on just one second here. All right, guys, so here's what we've got. So here's that new case we were talking about for the Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, now this is the one from Vilros. Fan built in, the switches are not active. So just to give you an idea, this is the Super Pi case. All right, now I'm going to put them side by side here and you can see the difference in quality. And as you can see, there's a pretty substantial difference in these guys. I mean, obviously, this one is a lot larger, the Super Pi case, and look, the switches function. Not to mention the fact it's got a button here to put SD cards in. It also comes with this little add-on that emulates a cartridge. The reset switch works on this one. So, as you can see, quality-wise, they're not quite there yet on this new Raspberry Pi 4 case. If they get this case closer to this case, but maintain the cooling aspect, and by saying that I mean they need to put a slightly larger fan in for sure, then I think they're going to be there. It's going to be a very nice case in the end. As you can see, this one actually has access to the 2 USB ports in the front and 1 HDMI in the back, as well as the audio and the power. And back here is where you've got your micro SD slot. The difference being, and you can see, this is where it all comes down to manufacturing and engineering. This one is straight up. I mean, the Pi sits where it is, and all of your connections are where they are. So both HDMI ports are here, power, audio, and everything. All of your standard ports you access normally off the Pi are just right there because that's where they are. So there's no adapter cables internally to move it. And on this side, you can see you've got your 4 USB ports right here. Of course, one big advantage, this is a 4, so as a 4, you get 2 USB 3.0s as well as 2 USB 2.0s in the LAN. But once again, it's just a little generic case to hold this thing. And frankly, that cooling is going to be great unless you overclock, in which case there's no way this case is going to cut it. So for Vilros, I got to tell you, as far as the case itself being a great first effort, thumbs up. I do like what you're trying to do with this. But for execution, guys, we need an active switch. I do love the LED lights, so please leave those holes there. That's really, really cool. And that's something that this one lacks. So that is really neat. But the LED lights are really neat. Other than that, we've got to get a better cooling system on here, some kind of a decent fan, or maybe even like a passive cooling system that comes down and makes contact with the Raspberry, with the fan internally. That would be great also. But for execution and right now, guys, and if you're using a Raspberry Pi 4, I'd have to say thumbs down on this one. I don't like it for execution. I'm not going to use them. They look cute. They're totally impractical. Once you gamed on this thing, overclocked for 20 minutes, your processor's going to start throttling you back because of heat. So, yeah, we're going to go with a no-go on that. Well, guys, listen. So, you know where I go with this one. I like the case. I'm probably not going to use it. But, hey, Vilros, keep it up, guys. Don't stop. I like where you're going. You're just not quite there yet, but you're getting there. Thanks for watching, folks. I have got another monster coming up for you. And I'm not going to tell you about this, but if you look back on all of my videos, there's one that has managed to garner the most hits of all my videos and views. We're going to do another one, but different. You'll love it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Stay safe. Stay inside. Let's get through this and let's get back to life. Have a great day. Bye-bye.